Hey there everybody, welcome to today's video. So, you see, I was recently rereading the Narantia vs. Little Feet fight in part 5, and you know, that was one of those stand battles that took place in a very public area where there were a lot of non-stand users to look on. And so that got me like seriously thinking, what were those other people seeing? And so I figure I'll take a few minutes out of the day or out of the night or out of whatever time I'm recording this. It's like 5:30, so I'm not really sure. But anyways, I figured now of all times would be the best time to really dive deep into what the fuck these ordinary normie people are seeing in this crazy catastrophic event.
You can show yourself now.
So let's start off with like the non-stand related stuff, or as far removed from stands as possible. The exploding cars. Yeah, that's right. The fight ended with Narantia blowing up a bunch of cars, and so there is no doubt in my mind that everybody saw that. The exploding cars and the fire, and I'm pretty sure there were scream sound effects. I mean, there had to have been like scream sound effects and whatnot. But anyways, so the fire aside, now we have another thing, the little holes and stuff that were left from Narantia's attack. Now there were quite a few times that Narantia attacked something with little feet, or not with little feet, that Narantia attacked somebody or something with Aerosmith, and like early on, like it just sort of, the way people were like still around even though things were breaking, it didn't seem as though they really recognized it too much. Although, to be fair to those people, Narantia was slowly shrinking. So that brings me to the weird thing that everybody probably could see but just didn't know how to make sense of, and that was Narantia slowly shrinking. Now you see, this was a stand ability, but technically not part of the actual stand. Of course, if this was part of the actual stand itself, that would mean that Narantia would turn invisible. Hey there, since we're about halfway into the video, I figured now of all times is the best time to once again request that you smash that like button if you're enjoying this, and if you're not enjoying this, make sure you annihilate that dislike button, and then subscribe so you can see every video and remind me that I should never ever make a YouTube video ever again because of how bad this one particular video is. Which I could only feel like that would be something that would be brought up if like Narantia had turned invisible to normal people the second he got cut with little feet. I feel like somebody would have mentioned that. Now, of course, things were just like randomly exploding around there, and so nobody was exactly talking to Narantia. He was also running around a lot looking for Maggio. But that brings up another thing that probably would have been mentioned if people couldn't see Narantia, and that was, why are things randomly exploding?
What's going on in there?
Did somebody say boom?
Okay, and so finally, let's go on to the thing that definitely nobody was able to see or hear, which is the actual stands themselves. Yeah, nobody was seeing them unless they were a stand user. And so, yeah, someday I would hope for like Araki to bring out another like non-stand user into the fray, and perhaps this one be more persistent other than Koichi, because Koichi, he just kind of switched out. He went from non-stand user to stand user pretty fast. It was only like 2 arcs or something really short like that. But yeah, like, let's get a Koichi who lasts a little while longer, so we can really see like how stand effects are perceived. Because early on, the first stand battle we got to see was Star Platinum versus Magician's Red, and the prison guards nearby were admitting that like they could feel the effects of the battle, like how everything was heating up, but they couldn't see what was going on. Not all of the light that was being emitted by Magician's Red, which is kind of a fun little prospect when you think about it, because like you could essentially have a stand user only light when you're trying to sneak around. That could potentially be something usable if like another later JoJo gets in bad with some kind of organized crime or just some other organization, and so a bunch of people are looking for him, and that JoJo is just sort of hidden, and either them or one of their allies has a light that's a part of their stand. That'd be a pretty like fun little side thing that they can create photons that only stand users can use. But anyways, now there's one last thing that I'm sure everybody here and everybody watching and everybody who was in JoJo's could definitely see, and that was all the color inversion.